My name is Brian Kraft, and this is my CSC 577 homework 1, implementing the user KNN recommender using significance weighting. So the first thing I had to add to the code was just a beta in the configuration file, which was used to calculate the significance weighting coefficient. So right now, just to kick something off, I'm going to run it with the MAE evaluator. Later I'll run it with the precision evaluator, but just real quick kick that off. So all I did to actually update the model, so if we see we get an MAE of 0.75, right? So all I did actually to update the code was I used the train model method, and I created 3 doubles. The first is the overlap value, which is just the number of the number of items that 2 users have both ranked. The coefficient is just calculating that significance weighting coefficient, so min, beta, or the overlap divided by beta. And then all I did was leverage a for loop that already existed to calculate the user means. So what we use is this. For each row, we use this getIndexList method, which is going to return the items the user has ranked. And then I take that vector and I compare it to the same list for all the other users, right? So I essentially make a vector for user of the items they've ranked, and then I compare it to those vectors for all other users, and I just find their overlap. And then I take that overlap, and if it's greater than the beta, then the significance weighting coefficient is just 1. Otherwise, we create that discounted coefficient where it's the minimum of the overlap or beta divided by beta. And then I stored those values in the hash map where the key was a user and the value was just a list of those significance weighting coefficients. It wasn't actually necessary to store them, but I just did in case for future use someone would ever want to get at those values. But then I just used those significance weighting coefficients and update the similarity matrix. So basically loop through that matrix, and if there is a cell that needs updating because it needs to be discounted based on the significance weighting, then I create the new similarity, which is just that similarity weighting times the significance weighting coefficient, and then I replace the old similarity weighting with that new similarity weighting. So pretty straightforward. The whole idea was simply just to update that similarity matrix with the new ones using the significance weighting before we hit this create user similarity list, in which it's finding those most similar users, and then it's actually going to use that to make a prediction. So everything is borrowed except this roughly, we'll call it 20 lines of code, and there's some comments and spacing in there, that just overwrite that similarity matrix and apply the significance weighting. So the other thing, we're going to go in here real quick, and we're gonna change this to precision just so we can be thorough and see everything running at least once. Then we'll update beta to 10 just to show that it can be updated. Everything else was borrowed. The driver file was from homework 1, and it just points to a new configuration file. The user KNN recommender file just has those roughly 20 lines of updated code, and then the configuration file, we see some swapping out just to change from the MAE to the precision evaluator, but otherwise it just has that beta in there, and that was everything that was needed to do the implementation. The only thing that really took so long for this assignment wasn't actually the programming. It was just figuring out all the different pieces and LibRec and how they work, and there's definitely some bugs to work through as well. But we'll see here that the precision evaluator comes out to about 0.013, and that is it.